I need to find a store to top up my phone. And I think that was a perfect opportunity to talk a little bit about like tips and tricks, what I feel is great to know when you travel around here in Southeast Asia. But first I'm gonna finish my coffee and then I will explain everything to you. I actually also have my laundries to do today. This is a perfect timing also to talk about that. Normally it's super easy with laundry. Either the place you're staying will do it, or there will be a place nearby, and it's relatively cheap. I think the lowest I paid was just under $2, and the highest has been $10. So everything in between that, this place right here charged $10,000 per piece, which I'm not gonna pay. Like it's gonna be way too much money. I walked past another place yesterday where it was $50,000, but it was the opposite direction of where we're going from the hotel. Just around the corner here, it's supposed to be a viettel, it's hard to say, where I should be able to top up my phone. I didn't see it though when we walked past there. Let's see if we can find it. And then I will tell you a little bit about SIM cards, which is in many ways super important if you want to travel around easily. I got my phone topped up, which is really nice that we now have a phone that actually works. She could only do a month at a time. I don't know why, maybe because it already was on 1 month. End of the day is I got 150 gigabytes for just over $5. So it's cheap. Data is cheap in all of the countries here, super cheap. I sat down to have another coffee. This is a cold one. They only had cold coffees here. A little bit funky, the coffees here sometimes. Okay, I can only explain the countries I've been in, so Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and here in Vietnam. SIM cards. It's super easy to get SIM cards out here. In Thailand, all 7-Elevens will have SIM cards. You just go in there and ask for one, they'll give you one. There are a range of different companies. I use D-Tac. The only reason why I choose D-Tac was that was the only thing they had available at the 7-Eleven that day. It worked perfectly throughout my whole trip there. Also heard about people using AIS, which is also supposed to be really good. So just go to a 7-Eleven, and 7-Elevens are everywhere. Remember to bring your passport because they need to verify who you are and put it in the system. Laos, Unitel is the one I use there. I don't even know if there's other ones. Unitel worked perfectly. Again, super cheap. I think I paid $6 for the entire month. And I'd never run out of data. I don't even know how much data it was, but there was plenty. And Unitel, there will be a lot of stores with that. So I crossed from Thailand into Laos via Friendship Bridge 1. And as soon as you get out of customs, it's full of people who want to sell you very expensive SIM cards. But if you go out, look to the right, there's a store, it says Unitel all over it. Walk over there, and it's half the price of what these people are selling it for. They even took Thai bahts. So that was the first thing I did. Just went to that guy and paid. And the funny thing, I told him, like, these people over there, they're selling it for double the price of you do. And he laughed. I can't remember if they needed my passport there. I don't think so, actually. And these stores is all over the place also. And if you just know where you enter or know which city you're gonna stay in first, just look it up before where are Unitel stores. And then it's super easy to find. In Cambodia, I use Cellcard. And again, these stores is also all over. I just walked past it, went in there, paid probably again $5, $6, $8 maybe. Here in Vietnam, viettel. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say. It's been the one I've been using. And I just paid $5.50 to top up my phone. And that's for a full month of data. 150 gigabytes, which is gonna be a lot for me being here 14 days. They also have smaller packages, but since it's so cheap here, I just took the biggest package they had, because then I knew that I wouldn't run out. In Cambodia, actually, I run out of data at some point, and I just topped it up online. I was actually trying to top the Vietnamese phone up online here this morning, but it wasn't. And then it's a great way to start the video, right? Then there are eSIM cards, which if you have plenty of money, don't care about not spending twice or even more, you can get eSIM cards. Just Google eSIM cards, and then there will be a range of different companies. They will charge you an arm and a leg for the data, but you don't have to worry about anything. I would say it's not worth the money because it's so easy to find SIM cards, like physical SIM cards, in all of these countries. I haven't worried at all entering a new country, worrying about like getting a SIM card. So if you're very lazy and have a lot of money, do the eSIM card. But it doesn't make sense. In my book, it doesn't make sense because it's so easy to do the other thing. I think that was all about SIM cards. Now we're talking about data on your phone. One thing I would recommend is to download offline maps. So in case of whatever, you don't have any reception on your phone, you will still be able to find a way around. Nowadays, Google, you can download the map. I'm that old that back in the days you couldn't do that. So I use something called Magic Earth, which used to be called Route 66. And I don't know why, I feel like it's nice to have two different apps also. So I use Magic Earth today because I didn't have any data to find my way around. Download maps offline. Download maps offline. Download maps so you can be offline. That was what I was supposed to say. I can't speak apparently today. Again today. Another great thing, and especially in Laos, I think, because the coverage in Laos is a little bit up and down. Mostly it's perfect, but I've been a few places. And that also depends on, if you're only going to go to all the main cities, you don't have to worry about it. Like, they're always self-reception. But if you go a little bit off the grid, this is a great idea, to download the language in the Google Translate also. So you'll always be able to translate. Because not a lot of people, especially outside the bigger cities, speaks any English. I would say 95% of the time you can get away with just sign language and pointing at stuff. If I'm out eating and I'm not sure if they're open or not, I'll just do like this and then point at me, and then they will do like this, if yes, and like that, if no. But if you need to be more specific about your questions, for example, bus rides or something like that, where you feel like you really need to nail it, it's a great idea to have the translation downloaded in case you are at a place where you need to buy bus tickets and there's no reception. There is a bunch of all kinds of apps, but I think these two, like if you can work with them offline, you can save it any day. Okay, I'm gonna drink this coffee, and then we still need to find a laundry place. But now I can Google on my phone again. I found a place for the laundry and it's done. Tomorrow at 5 we'll pick it up. Got a new coffee also. And a noisy building there. I'll try to talk when they're not noisy. We talked about the translation app before. Found a new coffee and a new place, and it was quiet, and as soon as I set up the camera, they turned on music in there. I hope it's not too loud. We just talked a little bit about the translation app. I would say mostly it works perfectly. Here in Vietnam, especially on food and drinks, you do the translation of the menu card and it doesn't make sense at all what it says. So sometimes you just have to pick something or guess. Let's talk a little bit about how to get money. And it's a complete mystery for me that people are not talking more about this. Everybody I talk with is so surprised because I meet a lot of people complaining about ATMs. You cannot withdraw enough money, fees, people that got their card stolen by the machine, or stolen, you know what I mean. And I just look at them and say, I use Western Union. I just sent money to myself. And I haven't seen anything on the internet about that. It's so weird because in theory, I don't think there's any limit when you send to yourself, so you can send infinity money. There's no risk of getting your card exposed to any kind of scam other than the Western Union website. And apparently the sun came and overexposed my face. There's no risk of losing your card. There's no risk of getting scammed by any kind of machines. You always know the fee, which for my case, first time I sent money, it was free. All the other times it's been $2. Sometimes with ATMs, your bank have a fee and the ATM machine have a fee. And sometimes it's not really clear what the fee is on the ATM machine. What I will do is I just send the money within the country I'm in, and then I can pick it up whenever and wherever. Western Union have a website. Western Union have a spot on their website where you can see locations. I would say it's not 100% up to date, but if you pick one of the bank branches, you will be able to go there and do it. And I've been to one bank where they were like, oh, we can't do it at the moment, but then they will tell you another bank where you can go. They're like a different kind of companies doing this. Western Union, I think RIA, MoneyGram, I think also do it. Whatever. I just used Western Union because that was the first thing that came into my mind when I was thinking about sending money to myself. That's about money. Highly recommend doing it that way. I mean, if you want to do it with the ATMs, you can do it. I wouldn't do it. But I have my card, so I will always have the option if I need to. Knock on wood, I haven't been in that need yet. Okay, now you have the money and you have the SIM card. Then you need a ride. And getting around, either from a train station, bus station, airport, or whatever, there's only one thing I would do. Use apps to get around. If you've seen some of my videos, as soon as you come out of a train, there'll be a whole bunch of taxi drivers, tuk-tuk drivers, and they will be so aggressive. And the funny thing was, the other day when I took the train, there was a train coming in while I was waiting. So a lot of people came in and I could see all of these tuk-tuk drivers. And at some point, there was only local people coming and they were quiet. They didn't say anything. And then a bunch of tourists again came and they will be all over them. Which means only one thing. These people know that they can charge way more on the tourist than the local. Otherwise they would go after everybody, right? But I talked with a lot of people that got scammed. I talked with a couple actually from Denmark where a tuk-tuk driver got into some kind of scam, and all of a sudden they paid $100 for something that was supposed to be free. I also talked with a girl that was normally used the Grab app, and then at some point she took a regular tuk-tuk. Thought it was the same price. When they got to the destination, it was not. It was double, and she had to argue, and it was like she ended up just paying the money because it's not that much money, but still. With the apps, you don't have to argue about money. You don't have to find a way. And there's the tracking system. There was one time here in Vietnam where the taxi driver, for some weird reason, Grab driver, for some weird reason, couldn't find his way around, which is super weird because it says on the app where he had to go. So he took it a little bit off course, and then the app asked me, I see you off course, is everything okay? And then you could emergency call or say everything is okay, don't worry about it. Which I pressed don't worry about it because it was just couldn't find a way. And having that level of security is really nice to know that there is just a press of a button and then some kind of help will be on the way. That's online, keep on changing. So in most of the country, Grab works. And Bolt also, I only use Bolt once in Thailand, otherwise I use Grab in all of the countries except Laos. They have their own one called Loka. It's the same thing. It works the exact same thing, it's just their own little thing. Now it's dark again. And every payment is also done online, so you don't have to fiddle around with your money. And everything is better about it. Everything is better about it. So definitely, if possible, use the apps. because you will pay a fair price, you don't have to argue, and it's safer. What do we have up next? Trains. And buses. Let's talk a little bit about how to get from city to city in Thailand. I think I only took trains, and that is super easy. The train company have a website and you can see everything there, buy tickets for some weird reason, and it's kind of been the same here in Vietnam. If it's a short distance ride, you can't buy it online. You have to go to the station to buy it on the day even. You can't buy it in advance. And I think a few times in Thailand it was like 2 hours before. So I don't know that much about buses in Thailand. There is this website called 12Go Asia, and it's super easy and it's super expensive. Like the fee they're taking for helping you out is crazy. However, it's a very useful website to find out where the buses are, and on the website they will actually tell the bus company or the train company, and then you can kind of find the ticket that way around. So I've mainly been using that website to kind of figure out where to go. I would say, however, it's not always that it shows up in there. So if you want to go from one point to another and it doesn't show, doesn't mean that there's no bus or train in that direction you're going. Kind of the same as the eSIM card. It's very convenient, but it's very expensive. In Laos, they have this high-speed train from Vientiane and then all the way up to China. You can buy tickets online. Hostels or whatever will also have tickets, which also will include a tuk-tuk ride to the station. I haven't been on the high-speed train actually, so I have no clue how it is, but I think it's quite nice. I think I'm gonna go back to Laos now and then actually take the train one time at least. So getting around Laos is mostly by buses, and it's gonna be bumpy rides and it's gonna be cramped. Comfortable wise, traveling around, that's kind of the worst country because it's so bumpy. They oversell the buses. And I don't know if there's any system for buses or anything like that in Laos. I never really figured it out. There's official bus stations, and then there's more unofficial companies. And I would say just walk around the city where you're staying and they will pop up everywhere. Also all hostels and stuff like that, most of them you will be able to buy a ticket there, which again will include a tuk-tuk ride, which I would say in Laos that's highly recommended, because especially if the station is not nearby where you're staying and the ride is early in the morning or something like that, like finding a tuk-tuk or whatever ride on your own. So in Laos it's mostly the old school way of getting around. Like you have to go to a station to find a ticket, but it is relatively easy to figure out even when you don't speak English. If you just have the name of the city and kind of what time you want to go, show them on the phone and then it will sort itself out. One time I couldn't really figure out how to find a ticket because when I went to the station they said no, we don't have the ride, and then I just walked past a hostel where it says bus ticket on the outside, just went in, bought a ticket there, and then I just had to show up at that hostel the next morning and then everything was sorted out. So even though if you don't stay at the hotel or hostel, you can just go in and buy the ticket there. Cambodia, by far the easiest. They have an app. It's also a website. Cambo Ticket is called, and you can find ferry tickets, bus tickets, and also some taxi stuff in there. I have no clue how the taxi stuff works, but it's so easy and there's no extra fee. There's no charge, there's no nothing. That's kind of all there is to say about getting around Cambodia. Just use that app and everything is fine. Actually in Cambodia, at some point it was cheaper for me to buy the ticket at a hostel than on the app, because I had to go to one of the islands, so I needed a bus ride and a ferry ride. And I just looked up on the thingy there how much it was, and it was actually cheaper than if I had to buy it on my own. I guess that's all about Cambodia. Really, really easy with that app, and also have a lot of different companies to choose from every time. Here in Vietnam, I used a website called travelbus.vn, like Vietnam. For buses, that was really, really good, and it was not that expensive, and it texts you on WhatsApp like within a few minutes, confirming everything. Really, really nice. And if there is any problem, you can text them and they will respond almost right away. And here in Vietnam, I've mostly been using the trains actually. What I did is I went to the train station, took a photo of the schedule they had on the wall. And since so since Vietnam is a very long country, there's just trains going north and south. I think there is 8 a day or something like that, and they're just called SE and then 1 through 8. Took a picture of the schedule, and then I can just be able to see, okay, this time of the day, I'll be there, I'll be there. I'll just go to the station and buy a ticket. They actually also have an app here. I haven't managed to make it work. So, I don't know, if you can make it work, perfect, use the app. I just went to the station. And for shorter rides, again, you have to do it on the day. So far, I've been able to get a ticket every time. One time, the seats were sold out, so I had to buy a bed, which they charge a little bit extra for, but it's not that bad, at least on the shorter ride. And for the longer rides, you can buy them in advance. But a longer ride, I guess that's over 4 hours, because I had a short ride, which was a 4-hour ride, which was like that. That was all the countries. Let's sum it up. It's super easy to get around out here. Another thing is also, because I have this European mindset sometimes, where Sunday stuff is closed, there's only running half of the trains and stuff like that. Out here, it's always in the middle of the week, which means it always runs. It always runs. It's like, I haven't been in a situation where they were like, oh, not today, but tomorrow. It always works, and when you ask, is it every day? And they will look at you like you're from outer space and say, yeah, of course it's every day. So that was everything about getting through the cities. There's a lot of people biking around here that look at me like I'm from outer space. Border crossing and visas, and that's of course gonna depend on your passport. For me, with a European Danish passport, it's been relatively easy. Thailand is visa free for me. By air, that's infinity, and I think by land it's 3 or 2 times you can cross in per year. There is a website called Passport Index, which is super nice. You just plot in which passport you have, and then there's a full list of all the countries in the world, and you can see, like, if you need to apply for a visa, is it a 90-day visa, 180-day visa, and all that. Really, really nice way to do it. And I think they also mostly have links if you need to apply for a visa. In Laos, I needed to apply for a visa, 30-day tourist visa. Where I was entering, it was actually possible for me to get an e-visa. So I did all of that online. Where I'm gonna enter next, I don't think it's possible for me to do an e-visa. So in Hanoi, there's an embassy of Laos. I'll go there, get the visa, and then hopefully everything is fine. I think in theory I will be able to get a visa on arrival also. But since it's possible to get it before, I will just do it before. When I entered Cambodia, I entered on the worst rated border crossing in the world, I think it is. It was an experience, I would say, but there it was just visa on arrival. You pay $35 or something like that. You fill out a form, and then they will give you the visa right away. But the border crossing there was like that was something. Go and watch the video if you want to see it. Here in Vietnam, I'm also visa free for 45 days. And that also depends again on your passport. Because I talked with a woman from Austria. She had to apply for a visa, but she got a European passport. Germans, also visa free. And then me, visa free. And that was the easiest border crossing ever, because I booked a bus ride from Cambodia to Vietnam, and the box company did everything. We just have to walk through the border with our luggage, and that's it. And that is all about border crossing. It's relatively easy, I would say. And then again, the visa, use that website, Passport Index. That's a really, really nice guideline. Okay, to wrap it all up, the last coffee of the day here. What else to say? Traffic out here compared to Europe, it seems super chaotic. But what it really is, people are really giving each other space out here in the traffic. I haven't been driving out here, so I can't talk about that. But I can only talk about walking around, especially here in Vietnam. I would say that's the most chaotic from a European eye. But what I found out is you just have to walk. I have my camera, so I'm a little bit like over safe. If I didn't have the camera, I would probably take more risks. But just walk, but be alert though, and they will go around you. And especially in Vietnam, they honk their horns a lot, but it's not because you're in the way. It's just because they want to let you know that they're there, which is amazing. Which also means, like, when you're walking around, hear the honking. It's not as annoying as it is in Europe, because people are honking in Europe like that. If people are honking in Europe, it's mostly a bad thing. Out here, they just want to let you know that they're there. There's no reason to be scared walking around in the traffic in this part of the world. Just be a little bit awake and then walk slowly. No fast movements, just walk slowly. Another thing I've been thinking about every now and then, when I hear other people, oh, we have to go up and pack our stuff. And I remember talking to some people and they were like, we have to pack our stuff. And I was like, how long are you expecting this packing to take? And they were like, 45 minutes. And I was like, 45 minutes? And I looked at them and said, like, I will pack all my stuff in less than 2 minutes. And it was kind of like a hassle for them, and I've seen other people also, but it's like, it seems like a huge game. And if you're gonna travel for a long time, that's gonna be annoying. For me, I never unpack anything. I have a trolley, which I just open up, take out a t-shirt, put in a dirty one, but I never like unload my suitcase, ever. Even if I stay a place in a long time, I don't do it. Because it just creates this extra pressure, or what do you want to call it? Stress, no, what can we call it? Like, extra thing you have to do. I see my suitcase as my house. And if I'm cooking in my kitchen, I don't take everything out from the drawers and stuff like that. If I only need one thing for cooking, right? So that's kind of how I see it. I only take the stuff out I need and put it immediately back in when I'm done with it. And then I never have to think about packing or like preparing myself for that, which makes the annoying part of traveling disappear completely. That was just a little fact that I feel like it's great. Like, I guess it depends on how you are and how you feel. But like, for me, that works perfectly. And I think to wrap it all up, there is only one thing to say, and that is, don't worry. Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine. It's super easy to travel around out here. I think I mentioned that a million times in this video. It's safe, but always be alert. Don't be stupid. When people come up to you and really want to be helpful, just expect they want money out of you in some kind of the other. They want to offer you a ride or something else. Just say no, I'm good. Even if you need help. Like, I would not say, like, I've done it sometimes if somebody actually seems to be very nice, but you can fastly, you will learn like who is trying to get money out of you and who is just like very friendly. But if you go and ask people, they will always help you. I would say there is nothing to worry about. If you're stressing out sitting in Europe or wherever, like, there is nothing to stress about when you get here. Like, it will make because when you're sitting there trying to figure something out on Google, and a lot of stuff out here is not on Google Map, or it doesn't seem like that simple. But when you get here and see it and can ask people, it's super simple and super easy. I really think that's the most important thing about traveling out here. Don't worry about it. Take it easy. Bus is gonna be delayed. That's how it is. You get super used to traveling 4 hours and then it takes 6 hours. But that's just how it is. And you will get super used to it so quickly. Feel like there's a lot of stuff I haven't mentioned. I can't remember right now what that will be. I'll probably make a part 2 at some point. I'll drink the coffee and then see you in the next one. I hope this little video helped you out. And I know it's not like a fast cut thing. That's what TikTok are for. This is more like sit down and enjoy and then get the information at the same time. See you in the next one.